Hey, hey.
Let me see the picture. No, I want to show them.
Hey.
What?
Soundstripe.
Fan Spectrum, I see you. Let's go.
All right.
We're back at the ballpark, guys. Where is he at?
You know, now that they got their ace Boone Coon back.
I gotta stick with MJ. Okay. Hey, you don't have to say it because I'm here now.
Oh, there's my boy Cole right here. I hope Lamar Jackson smells blood in the water.
Hey,
They
that
can figure
man.
it out.
Hey, that.
Fan Spectrum, right here, right here.
Let's,
The body wants
Brett,
what it
man.
wants, and it wants the Tootsie Roll.
Let's talk.
I have a fever.
Oh my gosh.
I have a sickness.
Let's
and it's the Tootsie Roll.
let's talk some basketball, shall we? Let's take it up north. We don't really talk about Minnesota a lot, so we're gonna talk about Minnesota today. And we're gonna talk about the Timberwolves.
There we go.
And I'm gonna say, man, this team's stacked, bro. I think they're definitely a team that's kind of getting their stuff together. I feel like I'm excited to see what their outcome is this year. I mean, last year was pretty impressive how they made the playoffs and beat the Clippers, teams. I mean, it was a struggling Clippers team, but still, it still made it there. And yeah, man, let's talk about what we think, how we feel about them, and who we think needs to step up. Let's start off with I feel like Brandon, you really want to start it off, bro. I feel like you've been itching about it. Who do you think needs to step up for the Minnesota Timberwolves and become successful? Who do you think they need to be step up?
Who needs to step it up? I mean, I think it's Cat. Not that he can't step up, but now that he's more of the 4 instead of the 5, he has a bigger role in terms of scoring, and now he can play the way he wants to play. So because now it's like, hey, well, here you go. This is what you want. You're not the 5 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna spread the floor. You're gonna be do whatever you want. I think that's just like him being like, here's the keys. You got what you wanted. I'll drive. And it's like leadership wise too. Like he's the leader of this team. I think it's one of those down the road it'll become Ants, but right now he's the leader of this team, and he's the guy that's been there the longest. He's the guy that Minnesota runs behind. Like he has that heart. He's a great player. I think he can hoop, but I think that's the guy that needs to step it up from like that leadership mentality and just being, now you have the offense built to play how you want to play. So for me, it's for me, it's Cat.
I think Anthony Edwards needs to step up. I think I get what you're trying to say with the whole Cat thing. He's a leader, but I feel like his time's passed, man. I feel like Cat needs to. Don't get me wrong, like he's a big impact of that team. He is a leader. He has a voice. But I think at the end of the day, I think the team should run through Ant because of his impact in general. Just the way he kind of runs that floor, the way he kind of dominates, dunking on fools. He brings that energy. Cat's great. Don't get me wrong, but I think this time has passed where they kind of tested him out to see if he can legit run that squad on his own. And I feel like Ant kind of took it over last year. And I feel like they're going to shape it around a little more with him. And I feel like, he's the one that's going to break out more this season and make that difference for that Timberwolves team and bring that energy. I'm excited to see it, man. What about you guys? What about you, Double A?
I agree with Romeo. I think Anthony Edwards is the key factor here. We know what Karl Anthony Towns is going to bring. What they're missing from this team is that killer instinct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look at their team from front to back, they got a pretty deep squad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could compete with any of the teams in the West. But what separates them from a lot of other teams, they don't have that guy like Devin Booker or Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Those guys, when the moments come down, like the clock goes down, you want the ball in their hands. So when if it's like 5 seconds on the clock, who do you give the ball to? Like, do you give it to D'Angelo Russell, or do you give it to Edwards? Do you give it to Towns? But and I think that's where Anthony Edwards comes in, because he was that former #1 draft pick. That guard's
Exactly.
supposed to be that guy, so he needs to take that next step.
Yeah, I agree, man. They definitely need that killer instinct, and I think, at being that kind of voice, I think he can definitely make it big. What about you, Manny? How you feeling about the Timberwolves?
They look good. They made a big move in getting Rudy Gobert over there, so that's nice. But ultimately, I think right now that Cat really, it's his team. It's still his team. It's still Karl Anthony Towns' team, and right now, this I would have to say is going to be the season that determines whether or not he's going to remain the leader of this team. Because I do agree that Anthony Edwards has stepped it up. He had a phenomenal rookie season. He's kind of made a name for himself, and established kind of that dog actually that
That grit.
Aaron was talking about, right? So I feel like the it factor is going to be is Karl Anthony Towns going to do well with moving aside to allow Anthony Edwards to kind of take over, as the young rock star of that Minnesota team. So I would hope that it creates more morale, because you have a young energy source kind of elevating that team to want to play better, and hopefully give them, that extra oomph to, to make a really good playoff run, because they have the tools. Now it's all about is are they going to be able to gel together, and they're going to be able to work together to create them a well-oiled machine, so they could really make some real progress in the West.
No doubt, man. And I'm definitely excited. I think Rudy Gobert is gonna gel well over there too. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about scoring as much, too. He's just gotta get those boards. I mean, it's gonna be definitely a good season for the Timberwolves. This is the fan spectrum. Cool. I was good.